Doing, my dear. Looking forward to talking with you on Sunday. I believe my Amber has arrived.
Hey, howdy, howdy.
It's good to see you, dear.
Good to see you.
It's nice to be out amongst them once more.
Yes, for sure. And it's Friday. Oh, yes. So excited for
Somebody's look,
Friday. Oh,
somebody's looking forward to going out on the town. I can tell already. She's
yeah.
going to get some boot scooting
Oh,
done.
so getting my boot scooting on. This week has not been good. I am ready for the weekend.
I bet you are. I bet
I
you are.
am. I
And we
definitely
appreciate
am.
we appreciate folks coming in. We're the KetovoreKast. I'm host A. Brett, and Amber's host B. Lone Star Keto Gal. There's that carnivorous lioness with the greatest name.
I
Love
love
that
that
name.
so much.
I do too. Appreciate you being here.
Yes,
Uh,
thank y'all.
you wanted to talk about some madness because you've had to go sit in some doctor's office waiting
Ugh,
rooms here this week.
yes, yes, yes. My mom
Why don't you
dealing with the whole cancer thing, so we've been having lots of appointments, and a lot of them I have to go with her because she could be
Yeah,
put
do me a
under or
favor.
whatever. Yes.
Do me a favor before you go any further. Clarify the cancer thing.
Oh, yes. My mom, we just found out my mom has breast cancer. So we're starting that whole procedure. She's already done the one where a tag was put in for the dye, the tracer to go to the cancer. So when she has a surgery next week, it's easier to get to the cancer and all. Yeah. So it's been a process and yeah, not a lot of fun, to be honest.
I'm sure. I'm sure it's not.
Yeah.
And prayers for peace for your mom, and
Thank
the
you.
doctors are going to do the great job that we know they're going to do.
Right.
But you said something that you were forced to watch advertisements. Was this with the doctor's office, or was this just the TV running in the doctor's office? What was going
It
on?
it was one of those pre-recorded things that they just keep looping, and so they talk about various health things. And some of it is like, the good things to eat, and some of it is talking about diabetes. But basically, what I felt like it was is an advertisement for drugs and procedures. Yeah. For instance, this one thing they were talking about type 2 diabetics, and they uh, according to her, a type 2 diabetic will always have to be on insulin. However, with a certain pill, they can lower the insulin needed, but they're still going to need insulin. So you take a pill and you do insulin. And I am dying,
Versus,
and there is a room full of people watching this in a doctor's office. The gospel. If it's saying there, it must be what you're supposed to do. And they're all just like zombies looking at the screen. And I'm looking around and I'm going, this is the zombie apocalypse. I'm living it right now. And I just want to stand up on my chair and go, stop! Don't believe this crap. I know so many type 2s that have reversed it. Now, I understand there's some cases where some people will have to be on insulin the rest of their lives if it's gone too far. Okay, there's always going to be those cases. But for a majority of the people, it is doable to get off insulin. Yeah, so I'm just sitting there watching this, and all these people are just, and if I was a type 2 diabetic and I didn't know any better and I was sitting in the office, I would just be going, you know what? To heck with it. I'm going to eat whatever I want because, I'm going to have to be on insulin anyway, so I'll just have my cupcake and up the insulin a little bit. I mean, why? Why not? I mean, you're doomed. You are doomed to be on the drug the rest of your life, so why not? And that to me was just disgusting. I hated
I'm really
that.
glad. I'm glad I wasn't there because my dad's basically dying slowly and miserably with type 2 diabetes right now. He's
Yeah.
early stages dementia, and I'm glad I wasn't there. A chair might have accidentally
Oh, let me tell you.
gone through whatever screen was presenting that propaganda, as someone accurately described in chat.
Yeah,
It,
I was
it,
just
it,
like going, oh my God, and this lady across from me is just looking at me, and I'm like, ah, oh,
and as we know from reading meatheals.com and from the testimonials from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, even into the thousands now of testimonials on Twitter and across social media by other people who reversed their type 2 diabetes
Yes.
completely on
Yes.
zero meds, doing it via
Yes.
keto, doing it via low carb, high fat, doing it via carnivore.
Yes.
Every one of them. It's
Yeah.
always, in most every case, reversible
Yes.
when you're talking about type 2.
Yeah. Oh, and
And
get this. And
ugh,
then I know, right? And then after that, they talk about healthy diets. Oh, you're going to love this one. They show a chef who is making oatmeal, and you serve it with a banana. And I'm like
oh
going,
God.
oh, really? No. Okay, it's bad enough that I'm having to go through all this with my mother, and then to watch this, it is just adding insult to injury. And all these people are just looking at the TV, like zombies. And I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, no. And I mean, everything they were saying, I swear, it had to do with, oh, well, if you have, this stuff happening in your stomach and you have acid reflux and all this kind of stuff, here's a procedure. And then here's the medication. And I'm going, here's an idea. Fix your freaking diet. Oh my God. I did actually say that loud enough where people around me heard, but whatever. And I'm just shaking my head. Like, it was never about fixing something so easy as your diet, except for, eating the oat. I'm just like, oh my God.
To
It
have
was killing me.
doctors, we're blessed to have doctors like Ken Berry and Paul Saladino and
Yes.
others, Jay Wrigley,
Yes.
other doctors who got sick and tired of seeing their patients come in month after month after month,
Yes.
and they're fatter, they're sicker, and these doctors were following the standard of care,
Yes.
following the big pharma, big medicine
Protocol.
directions.
Yes.
Yeah, protocol. And their patients weren't getting any better. And then many of these people, these good doctors, they're like, screw that. That's not what I signed up for. Screw this. And they got involved. They got curious. Paul Saladino, I think, is a great case. He was just genuinely convinced early on that something was missing. And so he investigated the dietary aspect of it. And it's why he's such an incredible force today as well, because
Yes.
he will flat out he will not back down from any falsehoods regarding what
I
is
love
a
him.
true and proper human food.
Yes.
What
Yes.
is actual nutritions.
Yes.
Not, somebody say, our lioness friend is saying oatmeal and banana, bloat and intestinal distress, not to mention the glucose spike, which causes insulin to overcompensate. Very well
Yes.
said.
And I very well know that because I have a little meter, the one that I talked about today in my video about how somebody told me that was ridiculous. Well, let me just tell you that ridiculous little meter let me know without a shadow of a doubt that oatmeal and bananas are not a good thing for my body. Not.
You're correct, Meg Tan. I'm going to call you Meg because I don't know how to pronounce that last part. Banana and oatmeal will feed cancer cells.
Yes.
That's correct.
That's absolutely
Exogenous
right.
sugar
Yes.
and cancer cells, not a good thing. Cancer
Yes.
cells have what? 3 to 8 times as many glucose receptors on them as regular cells do?
Yeah.
That's why if you are ever, and I want to say fortunate to get a diagnosis, because a lot of people don't find out until it's just too damn late. So
True.
if you got a diagnosis in time, that's a good thing. So if you were blessed to get a diagnosis in time, the first step, if you're not already on a ketogenic diet, should be immediately to start a ketogenic diet, because you want to starve those cancer cells at the soonest possible moment.
Yes.
But what we see, unfortunately, is the notion of diet is never presented to a cancer patient until everything else has been exhausted, until you've done chemo, radiation, surgery, combinations of that. When they've run out of everything else, then they'll say, well, you could try this, maybe it'll work.
For sure.
That should have been step one.
Yes, exactly. That's what was making me so daggum mad. And I seriously was about to jump up on that chair and be that preacher outside of the saloon going, hell, fire, and brimstone. No, stop.
The difference between me and you is I would have said
Yeah,
something
I
from the
know you would have.
get-go. I would have kept a running commentary going
I know.
because I am not afraid. What are they
I
going to
know.
do?
I still got that Southern girl, nice, kind of
I'm
don't
a
cause a
Southern
scene
boy.
kind
I'm as
of.
redneck as it gets, darling.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
you're a guy. Y'all are
I,
expected to be like that.
my don't give a damn meter is broke.
Mine is getting better, it's kind of, but yeah.
Always, as Jordan Peterson says, and this is something I'm going to harp on continuously because I think it's very relevant to a lot of these issues. Not just the lies that we've been told to by doctors, the propaganda that you saw being spewed out to pay sick people who are like, oh, I'm going to do that because it's a doctor's office. It must be
Yes.
true.
Yes.
Always tell the truth, or at
Yeah.
least don't lie.
I know that's so frustrating to me. But you know what? Some of those people that put that out believe it. That's the thing. It's not that everybody who's repeating this and putting it out there like doctors, it's not that they're being deceitful. I mean, some yes, but they believe that because that's what they were taught. They were taught to, medicate and to, fix the issue, not address the underlying, issue of the
That's just it. They
things.
don't fix the issue. They just treat the
Yes,
symptoms. They
yes,
never
yes,
take care of what's really
yes.
wrong.
But that's what they were taught.
Carnivore Gigi says she's hypoglycemic and those foods spike her blood sugar up and right back down. She's not had the problem since going carnivore 5 days ago. Stick with it. You're
Yes.
just barely, you haven't even scratched the surface of what's
Go
to come.
Gigi, from one Gigi to the next.
That's right. Yes, welcome to the carnivore family. Well said.
Yes,
Very well said. Always trust your body. If you just
yes,
give your body nutrition, it knows what to
right.
do with it. And it's
That's
going
right.
to blow your mind. Uh,
That's true.
so you started drinking bone broth.
I did. I did.
How, and I believe you've had some interesting results in after just a couple of nights.
Yeah, I did. The first night, and it could be coincidental. It could be, I don't think it's a mental thing because I was like asleep, but I had a cup right before going to bed, and this was a very, very high bone marrow broth because the bones I use had some serious bone marrow in it. So it was like pretty oily from that. So I know there was a lot of that in there. And it actually tasted really good, but the grease was, wow, it's pretty greasy. Anyway, right before bed, I gave a cup to my mother and my husband. And that night I slept, yeah, I'm making them all do it. Yeah. If they're in my house, they're drinking it. So there you go.
I
But
love it.
anyway, I'm the mama bear, whatever. But anyway, I swear I slept so much better. Now, again, is it coincidental? I don't know. It was one night. Now, yesterday was an extremely stressful day, as I kind of mentioned. That was just a small part of my day that I talked about. But by the end of the day, I was done. I was just done, done. And so I felt like I slept pretty well considering when I went to bed, I was still pretty keyed up. So, if I didn't have that bone broth, maybe it would have been a whole different scenario. I didn't sleep as well as the night before, but understandably. But I still felt a kind of calmness, which I don't know if it has anything to do with that or not, but you can't help but wonder. But it's only been 2 nights, so I'm really curious to see. I'm excited too because I think it's going to really help with my skin. And I don't have knee or joint issues like my husband and my mother do, but if that keeps me from having it, I mean, I'm 53, so I'm sure that was just a matter of time. But
Well,
hoping that
that's the
helps.
thing. Is uh, you said it's just a matter of time. Not if you just put nutrition into
Right,
your mouth
right,
from
right,
here
right.
on out.
That's
See,
what I'm hoping.
that's part of the deal that we were lied to about. We were
Yeah,
told,
right.
oh, these ailments, this pain you're feeling is just a normal part
Normal aging, yeah.
of aging. And we now know that's nothing but pure nonsense. It's fallacy.
It doesn't have to be, yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't have to hurt just because you clicked over a certain place on the calendar. There's no need
Right.
for it. If you're
That's
only
true.
consuming nutrition, your body has no reason to hurt, barring an injury.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
I'm
just
hoping I
no
prevent it,
cause.
so there you go. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm really excited about the bone broth. I thought that it was, and my husband actually really liked it, which
Cool.
that was one thing I was worried about, is the taste and making it, palatable. But he actually enjoyed it, and he was like, "Can I like have more?" And I was like, "Yeah."
It's not something you can OD on, literally. I don't. It's
Yeah.
like any other animal source food. They're very naturally governed.
Oh, yes, yes. There comes a point where I'm done. I'm just done. There is not another sip, not another bite of meat I could take. I get to that point and it's no. I don't see how people can do that, but I understand there are a few people who fall in that range and where they can overeat literally anything, including protein. And I'm like, good God, how?
I can't eat. Just the notion of that makes me want to hurl.
Me too, seriously. And I never really fully understood that until I was at the Brazilian restaurant. I guess I always stop before I ever get to that point. But when you have an all you can eat and it's expensive, and by
Hmm.
golly, you're going to get your money's worth, right? And it was
Absolutely.
meat, right? So
I
I
have to
just kept,
sneeze just a
more and
second.
more. Oh
I
Lord,
don't
here we
want to
go.
blast your ears while I
Oh God.
sneeze.
Okay. All right. Here, y'all cover your face. Cover your face.
Oh,
Oh God. Oh God.
excuse me.
Okay. Bless you. But yeah,
Oh,
seriously, the protein, including bone broth, I don't see how people can overeat it, whatever. It is, too much for me. I have to stop. No.
you were talking about it being greasy and whatnot. That
Yes.
to me, that's normal.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I wasn't
I
sure.
I see. I took a picture. I need to post it because Danielle just made and strained and put in the little plastic Tupperware things
Yeah.
a fresh batch of beef broth. I believe it was beef. Yeah, it was beef. Anyway, and we freeze it, and then you nuke it when you're ready to drink it. And inevitably, there's always a layer of fat
Yes.
that you get to watch melt.
Yeah. That's what I noticed when I put it in the refrigerator. And the last night when I went to get it, there was this nice little crust. I was too lazy to scoop it out into containers. I don't have enough
Don't
anyway.
scoop that out.
So,
You want that left in there. You
oh
want
no,
that.
no, I left it in there, but I mean
Yeah.
scoop it out of the pot to put in
Okay,
another
scare
dish.
me. It's like, no, that's
No, no.
stuff you want. It's got the
That's
collagen.
bone marrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Mm.
there's nothing else. I didn't add any fat to it. I mean, that is from the bones. So I figure it's got to be good. So,
Carnivorous Linus says that they make their cats homemade food. We do
nice.
that for our dog. We've got a 90-pound dog that we started. Danielle's making. He's got him a little breakfast Tupperwares, and then there's the little dinner Tupperware. Yeah, my wife's OCD, definitely.
That's nice. I
Um,
like it.
but he's doing so much better as a result. He used to have horrible skin problems. He was constantly chewing a hole in himself, and all of that has stopped.
Nice. Nice.
Very much worth it. Um, let's talk about non-scale victories for a little bit.
Yeah.
Non-scale victories, for those who haven't heard the term, are victories that don't have anything to do with losing weight and stepping on a scale. It's the benefits that you got from the diet that you never imagined in a million years would come your way. For instance, for me, the freakiest non-scale victory I've experienced was my eyesight getting better. Because neither me, my wife, nobody I'd ever taught, it wasn't something I even considered possible. But yet it happened.
That's way cool.
My skin healing the way it has is I have people that don't see me but once every 2 or 3 months. Hey, you're looking younger. And apparently it's true because I hear it from people all the time. And I look the same to me.
Well, of course.
But those are non-scale victories. And my most recent one is my back, my L5 pushes out just a little bit. We don't know if it's from a football injury or if it's genetic. Either way, if I stand in one spot too long, it can hurt. And it used to be when I walked distances, long distances, at the 1.5 mile mark, it would start to hurt a little bit until I would have to lean over and kind of stretch my back out and everything kind of pops back in, and then I'm good to go. But now, because of the weightlifting I've been doing, I haven't even been experiencing that pain at all. In fact, where it used to hurt, I now feel muscle support. Zero pain. Zero.
Nice.
None. After all these years of dealing with that. And it's just gone.
That's awesome.
You got some nonsense. You went to the dentist and
Yeah,
had
I
an
did.
experience.
Yeah. Monday, we had our dental cleaning. That's our, twice a year bonding thing we do together, my husband and I, and we go get our teeth cleaned together and a checkup. So it was our bi-yearly time. And I had spent a year and a half 2 years ago, whatever it was, starting to take care of my dental issues I had between my constant dieting, having bulimia, and horrible genetics. My back teeth were a mess. I ended up having to have 2 extractions, a cap, 2 fillings, and an implant. So I spent a lot of time. And then there was a lot of tartar buildup, especially like back behind my teeth on the bottom, which is pretty common. But it took like 2 cleanings to get that cleaned up. Well, the last cleaning, I got pretty good props, yeah, you're doing a good job, everything's good. This time, my dental hygienist was like, wow, I have 0 complaints for you, and generally I can find at least something to pick on somebody about. I have nothing for you, nothing. And I was like, wow. And she goes, no, you don't understand. That's like huge. And I was like, okay, cool. And then my dentist came in and checked everything out, and he's like, wow, you're doing a great job. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. And so I was
Did
like,
you tell him?
yeah.
Did you
Well,
tell
yeah, they all know because they follow me. So,
him? Okay.
they think it's pretty cool. Matter of fact, my dental hygienist, she's in some of my groups and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Awesome.
She knows.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of more non-scale victories, just in case anybody's really curious, when I had first lost my weight on keto, and it doesn't matter what diet is, if you shock your body enough, it goes through enough stress, you're going to lose your hair, right? Well, you see how long my hair is? Well, that's the way I like it, right? And so I was losing like tons of hair, like lots. And my hairstylist, she was like, oh, wow, I think we may have to cut your hair. And I was like, no, wrong. No, nope, not cut my hair. I'll look like a witch and be straight. Nope, not cut my hair. And she would just, oh God, And so it was a big deal because, literally I would brush my hair, clumps of hair, right? Well, now my hair started coming back after the initial cycle stopped, the shedding cycle, and my hair started growing in. Well, now, holy moly, my hair is like just like growing. And yeah, I have to get my hair done. I have to like use cover up because like my hair grows out and you have these little roots, and so I have to use this cover up because even in 5 weeks, it's like, oh my goodness. And then check out these nails. I don't know if you can see how long they are. Those are mine. And I've never been
Sweet.
able to have nails like that in my life, even with a coating over it. Now mine, I have SNS, so there is a coating on it. But these are my nails and they grow crazy. I have to get them done a lot more often than I used to. But you know what?
Sweet.
I'll take it. My husband's not
Non-scale
too happy about that.
victories.
Yes, huge. You can't always look at the number on the scale. There's so much other good stuff going on. Don't just focus on the scale. Nope.
So important. So important.
Very.
I want to take a moment. Carnivorous Lioness is just really being the star of today. And I
Yay!
appreciate this so much. They say they relieve the depression and anxiety. Well, right there,
Yes. Huge.
beautiful, beautiful. Best news I'll get all day, most likely, right there.
I
I'm
love it.
so happy because I know firsthand what that relief is like. And I'm so happy for you. That is just so awesome. Wow.
Definitely. Congratulations. That's huge.
Yes, that's enormous. And then on top of that, they say their hair and nails so much healthier now after only 2 months of being in ketosis.
I totally get it.
Carnivore Gigi saying only 5 days into carnivory and they're not feeling like someone's gut punching them. It was an everyday
That's
thing that
good.
used to landed them back in the hospital in February. It feels great for their stomach to be normal again.
Fiber.
No more constipation with IBS, a huge non-scale victory. Yes.
Fiber. Yeah, you know that
See, you
good
can
stuff.
relate to that.
Yeah.
You had a
Oh,
digestive problem.
yes. Absolutely, 100%. And going on keto, I had felt so much better than the standard American diet that I thought that was normal. And then when I went to carnivore within just a short period, like maybe a week, I don't know, whatever it was, and all of a sudden I was like, this must be what it feels like to have no issues, no gas, no bloating, no constipation, none of that icky stuff. No, it's gone. I mean, it's just gone. So yeah. It's huge.
Beautiful.
Fiber, yeah, gotta love that stuff. It just works so well.
Hey, we appreciate everybody hanging out with
Yeah.
us in chat. Don't forget, if you have any questions, hello,
Please, yes.
Mop and Jade. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, because that's why we do this in this format. I mean, we could just sit up on YouTube and talk to ourselves ad nauseum, and maybe 3 people would be a part of the conversation. That's why we
True
do it
story.
here. Somebody else is saying that Carnivorous Lioness is saying that it also healed their husband's IBS as well.
Nice.
Meat
Love
heals,
it.
people. Meat
Yeah.
heals. If you only put nutrition into your mouth, your body will recover from whatever ails it in time. You just have to be patient. And remember,
Patience.
we don't all heal at the same rate of speed.
Exactly.
It's always going to be different.
Don't ever compare yourself because you just can't. And I know it gets really frustrating sometimes where you say, well, such and such felt a relief at day 5 and the other one at day 10, but I'm on day 24 and I still feel like crap. Well, everybody's different. You just got to give it a chance. Just keep doing what you're doing and eventually it should, work. It just may take a while. Depends on how messed up
Yeah,
you are inside.
it depends on how long you've been sick, how sick you are when you start,
Age,
how compliant you are. I mean,
that's a big one.
you need to do the basics. If you don't follow the basics, you're going to have a hard time. And the basics, just to cover them and get them out of the way, only
Yeah.
eat when you're hungry. When you're hungry, you eat until you're not another bite full. You only eat the meat you crave and can afford, not the meat somebody else eats.
There's no magic.
No magic to any of this. And don't put any more sweet taste into your mouth. Follow those steps. There's an enormous amount of leeway in there.
Yep.
You just have to think about it. It's very simple, but if you just follow the directions, it works.
Yeah. And what's really funny is we get a lot of questions, like, why do you eat just ground beef and bacon? And I used to make fun of Brett for that. I mean, that was a big deal. I'd just like, oh, wow, it's something different today, huh? And it was more of how he arranged the bacon than anything because it was the same thing. And I thought, oh, I can't eat, even me who can eat the same thing over and over can't do that. Well, it figures that's what I would settle on. It's not because that's what Brett ate and I thought it was a magic cure. It was not that at all. It was just coincidental, seriously, that is the bulk of what I eat. Now, I will eat fillets on the weekend, and tonight I'm actually going to have shrimp, wrapped in bacon, but shrimp. But anyway, I did not do that because Brett did it. And I didn't feel like Brett had the magic formula or whatever. I swear to you, it is just what I settled on. It's something it's easily affordable. It's easy to make. I don't have to spend a lot of time cooking. And quite frankly, I still haven't managed to figure out how to cook steak properly. I've done, all the tips and everything. For some reason, I suck at it. I don't know why. So I'd rather just go out and eat a steak. So I'll just eat hamburger here because I've kind of got that one down. So that's why. It's not because Brett did it or it's a magic cure-all. It's just what I like.
That's so important because I've had a number, and don't get me wrong. When somebody takes a picture, it says, I had a Brett meal.
Mm-hmm.
This meal inspired by thankful. I appreciate that. That's really sweet, and it's nice. I'm more happy that you're eating meat and water. But if you're thinking about me while you're eating your meat and water, well, I'm not going to complain about that. I'm a nice guy, But don't do it because That's what you see me doing because that's
Right.
what you crave and you can afford.
Exactly.
Carnivorous Lioness is asking, how long did it take you two to lose the bulk of your weight? It took me 3.5 years to walk off 94 pounds. And then it took me 2 months into carnivory to lose the last 22. I lost 116 pounds total right at 4 years. And since carnivory, since I hit my lowest, I was at 173 in October of last year. And I've skyrocketed it all the way up. I was at 177, 178 for 10 months. And now, because of what I'm doing in the weight room, I skyrocketed all the way to 179. Zero change in the waistline, though, except for the fact there's a lot less flab there than there used to be.
That's awesome.
That's how long it took me. Amber?
Well, for me, for my heaviest, I was at least 240 pounds. I'm only 5'2", pretty short, right? But I had lost weight, like 100 pounds, and then I gained like, I don't know, 70 back. And then I'd lose some, then I'd gain, and I kept catching myself before I ever went up to my highest weight. Then I went keto, and I lost 62 pounds, and that took me about 8 months. And then when I switched, I was maintaining for a good year and, I don't know, year and a half or whatever it was, before I ever started carnivore. So I mean, yeah, if I lost 5 or 10 pounds, that's great, fine. But that's not really why I did carnivore. It wasn't for the weight. Matter of fact, I've gained a few pounds on carnivore, but from what I understand, that's completely normal, specifically for women. And eventually it kind of levels out, and that's where I'm at right now. And I can already see like some definition happening, and it's starting to kind of stay steady or whatever. And, you know, my clothes are fine and all that kind of thing. So hopefully, you know, I'll be down to my absolute lowest. But in total, I've lost over 120 pounds. And like I said, it's kind of hard to say because through the year, you know, since 2008, I've kind of been going like
Well,
this.
you didn't really weigh yourself that either. You don't really know
No,
what your lowest was.
yeah, no. The 240 was minimum. I was probably more than that. I hate to say it, that was scary. I was like at a 3XX or whatever the heck they call that size, and 26, 28 waist. Ugh. Size, not inches, you know, like now I wear like a 25, I think. It's not in that. It's the size 26, 28.
Well,
Yeah.
yesterday there was a little thing going around where people were showing off their old pants.
Yes. And I have some capris like that, but mine had the elastic waist, so you can't really get the whole impact of it, you know, being all, you'd have to, I guess, like pull it out
All you
or
got to do
something.
is stretch them out, darling. Stretch them out to where
I may do that later just
you
for
might
fun.
need two people. Do you
I
need
can
two people?
stand in one leg. Okay, I can tell you that. I do have a picture of me standing in one leg, but yeah, it was horrifying. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
Bad.
I've got a picture of a pair of shorts that I used to wear that I remember thinking at one time when I was ginormous, oh, these are really comfortable.
Yeah, me too. Those capris I wore like
see
every day.
and I saw those, and then I see that picture, and I'm just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I literally have lost over a third of a person.
I've lost half my person.
I mean, that's just mind-boggling to think that we used to walk around like that.
Yeah.
That oh, what a difference a year makes. What a difference 2 year makes for you. I mean, the difference in mindset, just the difference in the mindset in a year.
Yes, and confidence and enjoying life, living again, you know, going out in the world instead of hiding in your house, or at least I did.
Carnivorous Lioness says she's 5'10".
Wow.
I'm saying she, I don't know, might be a he.
Lioness, I would assume.
She, probably. And saying I'm 5'10" and in the 270s, was in the 290s. Well, first off, congratulations on the 20 you lost.
Yes.
Because that first 20 is always the biggest. That's always, in my opinion, that was the hardest, was to get started. So that's for sure. A good starting place. You're settled into this way of eating based on what you've said. Now you just need to trust your body and be patient. There's that P word again.
Yeah, my favorite word. But seriously, it is true. And again, like we've said before, it's hard right now when you're just focused on the weight part of it, the losing the fat. I get it. But if you just kind of focus on all the good stuff happening inside, this is a lifetime thing. It's not a race. And yeah, we all want to look cute in those size 2s or whatever, but it'll come if you just stick with it, but let that healing happen. You can, have that good digestion. You can have better skin. Maybe your teeth are better. Maybe your eyes are better, whatever. And then eventually the weight will start, happening. So you got this.
You're going to do just fine. And it's definitely, she's definitely a lioness. She confirmed it. We have it straight. In this day and age, you just can't.
Never assume.
You can't assume that it's common sense is the rule. But that's good to know, my dear.
And congratulations again. That's awesome.
Yeah, seriously. That's incredible. And you need to tell people about that, because a 20-pound weight loss, that'll inspire somebody. That'll inspire somebody greatly.
You know what my husband had me do? When I lost, I want to say it was like 50 pounds, and I was like, 50 pounds, big deal, because I had, another 70 pounds or something like that to use. He got one of those vests that you work out in that you can add the weight to, and he put that weight in there, and he said, walk around. And I was like, that's stupid. And I walked around, and I was like, good gaw. And he was like, that's what you used to carry around on your body. Don't ever say that is no big deal. Don't ever say that again. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I remember this. I remember reading this around a year ago, because it was zeroing in on health, and what this husband and wife, one of the spouses had lost like 150 pounds. I think it was the wife had lost 150 pounds, but she was wanting to backslide and eat crap. So what he did was, they were out shopping. He had her they bought like 150 pounds worth of animal fat and put it in their cart. And then he asked her to push it around for a while and get back to him. And it opened her eyes. You want to push that? You want to wear this again? Are you serious?
Sometimes you need a visual.
And see, I understand what it's like to be a sugar addict. It hasn't been all that long ago. I remember.
Yeah, me too.
I cost myself more years of mental health misery, because I thought wrongly that, I can always just go back on Atkins. It won't be a problem.
Yeah.
I get big again, not a problem. I go on Atkins. I did not lose my mind.
No.
Again. Worse.
Again. Worse. That's more like it.
And so that's why I want to circle back to the honesty thing, because in truth, all of us know when we're putting something into our mouth we know we shouldn't be doing, that we shouldn't put there. We know this. We're adults.
Right.
We know this now. So if we're not being honest with ourselves, and we're wasting time in it, I got all these reasons why I need to eat this crap that I really want to eat bad, because it'll make my life better for just one moment. And then, for some people, it puts them back on the road, and the next thing you know, all their gains are gone, and they're in worse shape than they were 6 months prior, or they have a Michaela Peterson type kind of experience where their depression all comes back, and it takes them a year to recover from it, to get their happy back fully. Think about what you're doing to yourselves, my friends. Be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with anybody else in life, be honest with you about the food you're putting into your pie hole.
I was watching this live last night, and I wish I could remember who now, but it was 2 doctors, and one of the doctors was this really beautiful woman. She's a blonde, real pretty, blue eyes. I don't know if you've seen her or whatever, but she's pretty, voice in the
buff looking?
No, I only saw this much of her, but she didn't seem to me like to be buff. But I mean, she's just a really, anyway, I thought she was gorgeous. Anyway, she was talking about how when she wants something bad or whatever, she stops for a minute and she thinks, what am I going to feel like in 30 minutes? Is that going to be worth it to me? And if not, stop. you know, and most of the time it works for her. Not that she is perfect, she said. Occasionally she will decide she's going to have something and she usually pays for it. But, you know, she's like, I always think about that first. And so, you know, that's kind of a good thing to do. If you just, like you said, be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, is it worth it to feel like crap 30 minutes later? Is that, you know, prior to 30 minutes worth the rest of the time feeling like crap? So,
Well, see, for me, it's a sanity issue.
mm-hmm.
You know, do I want to inflict my madness upon my wife again? Of course not. That would be a supremely selfish act for me to
Right.
commit. Because,
Agree.
you know, for that few moments of mouth pleasure, I'm going to generate weeks, maybe months of mental anguish for all my loved ones, the people that care about me. Sarah Jane Hill says that's Dr. Fit and Fab that you're talking about.
That I think you're right. I think you're right. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that very
Yes,
much.
thank you.
That was very well done.
She really is gorgeous. I would just like, oh man, she's so pretty.
There's a lady. She's getting married. They haven't already had their first child. It's very close. She was on the Human Performance Outliers podcast, and I can't remember her name. And her fiance, if not already husband, was a Navy SEAL. Was a Navy SEAL. Anyway, beautiful, just beautiful. Like, how did she get to be a doctor without being like,
I know, right?
Giselle Bundchen #2 or something? She's
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's I guess. Yeah, because you have these, you know, types in your head, and you see her, and you go, wait, she's a doctor? Wow, she's got brains and beauty? That's not fair.
That's a dangerous
It's just not fair.
I knew a therapist. This was back thousands of years ago in the 80s. She was a psychologist, and she just finished up her master's in psychology, and she was getting ready to go to get a law degree. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're a psychologist and you're going to be a lawyer too? That should be illegal.
Yeah, seriously.
That should be illegal.
Right. Not fair.
You could do, especially if you've got some malevolent tendencies in you, you could do some serious twisting to people. Serious twisting.
Yep.
Okay. Let's touch on this issue, because this is something we both have experience with, and I bet everybody in chat has run into this. The fallacy of eat less and move more. The times that we've heard this, the times that I see it every day on Twitter from somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Just need to eat less and move around more. You'll be all right. You don't need to restrict your calories like that. Well, first off,
easy.
I'm eating over 3 pounds of meat a day. If you think if that's restricted calories, you're crazy. What do you think, Amber?
Well, I think it's really sad, quite frankly, because that's what I went by for all those years that I dieted and did you know, up and down, up and down, up and down. And there was one point where, I mentioned this before, where I worked out 2 to 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. I went to 4 different gyms, and that was my whole day. I would go to this gym, to that gym, to this gym, you know, and blah, 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 blah. In the meantime, I kept cutting my calories, down to where I was like about 800 calories. How much more could I move? How much less could I eat? Because you can't keep doing the same thing. You have to keep changing, right? So your body doesn't get used to it. So that means I'd have to move more, eat less. Move more, eat less. Move more. How sustainable is that? Answer me that. Seriously. I mean, that is the kind of diet that is not sustainable, because it does not address your hunger. It doesn't address your cravings. It doesn't help with your hormones. It doesn't work. I mean, trust me, I've done every one of those, and you can't get more extreme than that. I don't see how you can. So, yeah, good luck with that if you're still, you know, following that motto.
In 2006, right before I had my nervous breakdown, I was around 250, but I was 258 is my memory. And I'm thinking at the time, I don't realize how sick I am. etc. But I'm like, okay, I got a free membership to the Y because my stepdaughter was a lifeguard there. So our family had free membership to the Y through her. And so I got to where I was swimming 100 laps a day.
Whoa.
And then I'd go walk on the treadmill and walk me a couple miles. You know how much weight I lost over a year doing that? 3 pounds.
Oh, wow.
3 pounds.
Oh, wow,
total.
wow.
3.
Wow.
And I was committed. That was 5 days a week I was doing that. Now, I was still eating crap.
Yeah.
I was microwave popcorn, whatever else. But I was exercising. I was convinced I could lose a bunch of weight if I just did it. And, I got to where I enjoyed the swimming. I was still ginormous. My appearance didn't change one bit. Finally, I got sick enough to where it was just too much energy, and I just quit going. I didn't have the energy or the wherewithal to even think about it. But
yeah, I get it. And the thing is, I did lose weight. I lost 100 pounds doing exactly that, but I killed myself. I was miserable, and there was no way I could sustain it. What is the point if you can't sustain it? And that's what it just aggravates the hell out of me when I hear people, calories in, calories out. Well, okay, sure, you have to be in a deficit, whatever. But you're not addressing the issue. You can't live like that.
You don't have to be in a deficit. That's the thing. We are I'm
We're
not
coming along.
I know. 3 pounds plus of me today. I'm at a calorie surplus. I'm certain. But because it's only nutrition.
Yeah, your body is utilizing. Yes, yes.
It's being used properly.
Yes,
and of
exactly.
course, I'm still healing.
Yeah,
I'm still healing, obviously. Although I have noticed my cognitive skills have improved greatly in the last couple of months, just immensely. My observation skills have gotten so much better, except for the fact I'm observing things now that I don't necessarily want to observe.
Right? That's why I keep saying, once your eyes are open, you're like, I can't close them again. Oh, no.
But what we're seeing in chat is a lot of people agree with us, has similar experiences.
Yes.
Carnivorous Lines is talking about how eat less, move more caused her to get into a binge cycle because she was so hungry all the time.
Yes.
That's very common.
Very.
Carnivore Gigi says she's actually been moving less the last 5 days than she normally does, and she's a busy mom, and she's not gained a pound. She's actually lost a pound. Yes. And she hasn't counted 1 calorie. I have never in my life counted calories.
Oh, goodness, I did.
Never.
To the point whatever, it was ridiculous. But since after I lost my initial weight and I had a good grip on what I was doing during keto with the macros, all that kind of mess, I stopped, and I haven't since. And somebody had actually asked, how much protein versus fat and that kind of thing. And I tried to figure that out. I can't remember now, but I know I'm getting about 100 grams of protein or something like that right now. But I only did that because people ask, and I wanted to have it available, but I need to figure that out a little bit better. So I have it written down just for a fun fact, not because I care.
My answer to that is I don't care. I feel so good.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't thought about it. It's irrelevant to me because it's a non-issue.
It really is. I physically can't overeat. I can't.
Not me. I can't do it. I hit that point. You hit that full point, and you can have a plate full of bacon. It can be the most delicious stuff in the world, and you just know. There's like a switch says, nope, I'm done. It's over.
Once you get things back in balance, that's a problem though. When you come from a background like mine, my body couldn't signal that because it was so messed up from all the years of damage. So it took a little bit of time to kind of adjust to really being able to listen to my body and believing it, because it was, told so much bad things, and so my signals were completely off. And so that could be an issue maybe for a while, but after being, especially carnivore for a while, I mean, how can you overeat meat? I mean, some people claim they can. I can't. It's not no.
I can't even imagine. Our friend Roseanne, in Ireland says that she quit the gym. She started 25 minutes of yoga today and went carnivore, lost 12 pounds in the first 3
Nice.
weeks.
Nice.
Winning.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
I have looked at and thought about yoga. The problem is to get a class is expensive. You got to buy all that stuff. And do I really want to be in a room? Because I've also noticed that it's very few men that go to these things. It's almost all women.
That's a true story.
And,
I have a funny story on that one.
And I'll just stick with the weight room. But I read a lot about yoga, and I would love to be able to be that flexible. I would love to have that kind of
me too.
strength that you get from isometric type kind of activity, which is what yoga basically is in a lot of ways. You're using your body weight to build strength, to burn fat. It's very healthy. I understand a lot of that.
Very awesome. Yeah.
I'm not into a lot of the philosophy of it because an enormous amount of the yogis are taught to be vegetarians or vegans and whatnot. And,
For me, it was more of I'm a kind of, when I exercise, I'm a hyper person. I want that cardio. I want that Zumba. I want to dance. I want to, and to be in, this calm, relaxed, meditative kind of, thing. I'm looking around going, oh my God, kill me. I can't take it anymore. And so it is definitely not my thing. I know it's good and I wished I could do that, but number one, the repetitive things you have to do. Oh, goodness gracious, no, just no. I don't know.
Thanks,
Maybe
Roseanne.
one day.
Roseanne, thanks for sharing that. I wrote that down. I'll look that up because I learned about Tai Chi and have done some Tai Chi stuff for a while. I haven't done it for a few months, but I got a lot of, in the low carb days, I had a really bad problem with my shoulder. I couldn't straighten my arm out at all because of the way I sat for all those years in here when I was sick and obese. I literally damaged my shoulder sitting in the chair.
Hunched over.
It's madness, just pure. Another irrational act along the long list of many thousands that occurred then. But I found, and I just got curious and went on YouTube looking for alternative. Well, how can I do? Because I was thinking I was going to have the joint replaced. And how can the expense? How am I going to afford that? Because I couldn't. My arm was useless. I could only sleep on my left side. I couldn't even sleep on my right side.
Wow.
And just the basic beginner Tai Chi stuff, I got a lot of mobility back.
Wow,
and of course,
cool.
after carnivory, I got it all back.
Awesome.
Listen, we got 7 minutes left.
Oh, wow.
I want to take a minute to plug something that Roseanne and I are going to be doing this coming Sunday at noon Eastern Daylight Savings Time, 5 o'clock p.m. GMT. I think I said that right. Roseanne will correct me if I did it wrong. I'm going to be interviewing Roseanne. And Roseanne's an extremely interesting young lady because she's an ex-vegan.
Ooh.
And I've never had the privilege of speaking to an ex-vegan or a current vegan.
That's cool. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward. I've got a lot of questions, and she's got quite an experience to share. And so if y'all get a chance at noon on Sunday, come check it out. I also want to remind everybody that this episode and all the KetovoreKast episodes and the interview I just mentioned, well, the KetovoreKast episodes get uploaded to the KetovoreKast YouTube page. So if you hear something here and you didn't write it down, you need to reference, you want what did Amber say, what did Brett say, you can go back and to the YouTube page and find it. Get the bit of information you're looking for. And then on my Thankful Carnivore page, I'll be uploading all my interviews in addition to the Periscopes. And I start a new part-time job next Monday. So my Periscopes, instead of being Monday through Friday, are going to be Tuesday through Saturday. Just a little housekeeping there. As those radio important people say. Just a little housekeeping. Let's see, what else have we got to talk about, my dear? I'm trying.
I
I
know.
really don't want to touch on this in the short amount of
Oh, I
time
know
we
which one
got
you're gonna
left.
go. Yeah,
I don't want to get into that one
Let's
issue.
save it for next week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll save that issue for
save
next
it.
week. Maybe there'll be a new crisis next week. There's issues we've noticed there's the must address issue every week. It
Yeah,
seems like a month ago it was fasting.
yeah.
And then I don't even remember what came after fasting off the top of my head right now. It doesn't matter. We've addressed them all in turn. This week it was dogma. And it's such an important issue that we've only got like 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes left, and we don't want to broach that topic and shortchange it and just hurry up, kind of silly. Again, I want to thank you all for hanging out with us the way you have.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
You guys are really good people. Your comments are greatly appreciated. That's why we do it like this, is for the participation. Next week, we'll find out how well Amber responded to 3 or 4 more nights of bone broth.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
You know you want to know that.
Because you want to know. And you want to know about how did Brett, because I got to stand on my feet for 8 hours on concrete Monday.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. It's not just Brett shows and works and somebody hands him a little thing of money. No, Brett has to actually work for it. And while it's manual labor, it's not overtly horribly difficult manual labor. But I'm going to be on my feet for the first time in a long while for that many hours, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how I respond, especially with my back situation being the way it is.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I have another non-scale victory.
Well, share that non-scale victory, my friend.
Well, you know how I was having a fit because I was still burning, and I'm like, hey, I want to be one of them that don't get sunburn. Well, I was in the pool the other day, and I stayed out as long as I did last week, and I got less of a burn, and it's gone. It's gone. I don't have it anymore.
What did I tell you?
I mean, I still burn just a little bit, but, it's getting better, so yay.
Well, see, what y'all don't understand is when she first went out into the sun, she was snow white. She was glow in the dark white.
Yeah.
Pale.
Yeah.
And she's like, with this lily white skin, why did I get sunburned? I don't understand.
Well, hey, I compared myself to everybody else who didn't get burned, okay?
Hey, but see, you figured it out. You did a little bit at a time, and the first time I got out in the sun, of course, here in Florida, that was in February, and I got a little red in a couple of places, but I didn't stay out too terribly long, and you know what I do now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every afternoon,
scare the neighbors.
95 degrees or higher, I'm taking a 2-mile walk, scaring the neighbors because I don't wear a shirt because I want to make vitamin D naturally. And at my weight now, I'm not too horrifying to look at without a shirt on. And if I am, so be it.
That's not what your neighbor said.
That's not what my neighbor said. I don't care. What do they know? What does he know? He's a fisherman. He stares at a line all day. He watches a little round thing with a thing to see if it moves up and down for hours on end. How's he know what I look like without a shirt on? He can't even see me.
You better watch the time. You got 1 minute.
I am watching the time. We got a minute left. Amber, give us your party thoughts, sweetie.
Well, I would like to just say, everybody just have patience with your body and allow it to do what it needs to do. If you're taking in the proper nutrition, things are going to happen in time. And yes, I need to practice that a little more too. So I'm right there with you. Anyway, I hope y'all had a wonderful weekend.
And always remember, it's important to be thankful. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, y'all, for joining.
Thanks so much. Be well, my friend.
Bye.
Bye.